Welcome everyone to Las Vegas Hospitality Evolution. Our first North Las Vegas Black female mayor, Pamela Goynes Brown. I want our audience to know who you are, and I want to start with your family.
They were in California at first, where my brother and sister were born, and then I think they were looking for teachers to come teach on the Navajo reservation, just to teach Navajo children, I guess, American ways, so to speak, and English and reading skills and just everyday life skills. And so they went there, and they had a phenomenal time there. I don't remember. That's where I was born, so I don't have much of a history of remembering anything. They're just stories that they shared with me, and so that's how they came.
So you were born in a sovereign nation?
I was born on the reservation.
That's a sovereign nation.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I am really, as an educator myself, and I've done a lot of training all over the world and teaching Native Americans as well. I know that sometimes there could be a little culture clash.
Correct.
But when you are willing, if you have a willing participant, that culture clash just goes away.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, you went to high school at
Gorman. I went to
Gorman.
Bishop Gorman.
You went to Bishop Gorman.
Yes.
And you also went to Garside, didn't you?
I did not go to my oldest son went to Garside.
You went to Garside.
Yeah, we went to Catholic schools all throughout our schooling because, when we came here in the 60s, this place was very, very segregated.
Yes.
And my parents were working for the school district, did not want us to be bused an hour one way to get to school and back. So we went to Catholic school, and we just stayed there throughout our whole educational career.
We have that in common. Back, I went to St. Peter's out in Henderson. Mm-hmm. My father would take us out to Henderson. And then when Our Lady of Las Vegas opened up, we went to Our Lady of Las Vegas. So I still remember my Latin Ecum Spiritu Tuo, Don Ramos, Don Espatas, all of that. I was an altar boy at that time. And it was an experience. Now I know why. You're accomplished, disciplined. You're a disciplined individual, because back in Catholic school we had to sit like this the entire time.
Oh yes.
We were very disciplined, and
yes.
And if you went to the schools, name the Catholic schools you went to here in Vegas.
We went to St. Joseph's. It's torn down now, but it's right there off of Bridger and Maryland Parkway.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
That was from 1st to 8th grade. So then from there you just went to Gorman, which was just up across the street, basically.
That is absolutely great. I went to at Our Lady, and you may know this name, David Hum, who was a quarterback. Now I don't know if your brother would know and your dad would know, because they're. They know sports and everything, and I know you probably know sports as well, but David Hum grew up here in Vegas and was an All-American, and he went to Our Lady of Las Vegas. I had a chance to go to Gorman, but I decided that I had enough discipline. Mm-hmm. So I moved on to Western High School, where I graduated.
That's really ironic that you said that, because when I was in high school, my mother was the dean at Clark High School. And I begged and begged. I said, why can't I just come to Clark with you? And she said, because I said so. If you know my mother, if she says something, very soft-spoken, you don't question it. She means it. She's like, you staying where you are? I'm like, okay. So I lost that battle.
Absolutely. Now, so how did you said briefly how you got into politics, but you watched your father in politics for a while. Mm-hmm.
Well, growing up, we would always go to City Hall, and we were there to play on the grass. But and then we would sit through meetings when he told us to. We didn't volunteer to go. He said, "You're coming." So I think we were learning all along and not knowing it. And then, like when he would travel to conventions, it was a family affair. We would all go. So I got to see a lot at a young age about the democratic, democracy and how everything works in government. So just watching him and just being proud of him and the things that he accomplished when he was on the council.
So, Madam Mayor, I wanted to also delve into how was North Las Vegas years ago. In retrospect, can you remember how North Las Vegas was then and how it's evolving, and where do you plan to take North Las Vegas?
I feel lucky because I feel like I watched North Las Vegas grow up right along with me. As a child, it was very small. I remember Craig Road seemed like a far distance from like Lake Mead Boulevard to Craig Road, or I think it stopped like at Decatur going west, and it was just like, okay, the city was super small. Well, Vegas was small, period. I mean, you could get on the I-15 and go north and south and get anywhere in 5 minutes or less. And so just watching the changes and the growth, especially in, our communities, our residential areas, and just the amenities that we have here. Our parks have grown, our industrial blueprint has grown, just overall economic development, services, just everyday services for residents, for shopping and dining and all of that. And I'm just fortunate that I get to be a part of that right now, because when I came on the council in 2011, it was during the recession. Economy tanked. North Las Vegas was hit with the largest foreclosure rates, job losses. And so, new on the council, very green, you're like, uh-oh, what did you get yourself into? But then the council, then we were like, failure is not an option. And the state was going to come and take us over into receivership. They didn't know what to do with little old North Las Vegas, so we just said, we're going to fix our problem. And that's what we've been working on for the last decade. And so what you see currently are the fruits of all the work that we have been put in over the last decade, that we were not going to fail as a city.
What happened during that time of these challenges when coronavirus hit? Did that kind of slow things down, or how did you navigate past that?
The COVID put a monkey wrench in our plans, but we were still pressing forward what we could, when we could, because we had a deficit we had to make up. We were in junk status for our bond ratings. We're A+ status right now. And so what we did, we were probably one of the first jurisdictions to invest the majority of the COVID funds that we got the first round back into our citizens. We made sure our businesses were okay. We set up testing sites, vaccine sites. We gave out food. We just wanted to make sure that everyone was okay. And instead of us laying off employees at the city, we just repurposed them. Like, we had library staff, and they were instrumental in calling every single licensed business in North Las Vegas, first of all, just to say, how are you? And then, telling them about the loans that were available and helping them with those services, just to make sure that, first of all, if people aren't okay in their own space, then that's a problem. And we wanted to get as many people tested and vaccinated as possible because of the high mortality rate among people of color and our senior citizens in our community.
Wow, so you kind of got right into politics at a time when things were changing.
Yeah.
You had some challenges that you had to deal with. Do you sleep well at night? I mean, how many hours of sleep? How many hours of sleep do you get, knowing you, Madam Mayor, with all of the things that's on your plate? I read some things about you wanting to get more 500 companies into North Las Vegas. If you can address that.
Well, first of all, I make sure I take care of me first, because if I'm not healthy, I can't take care of my constituents.
Right.
So I'm going to get my sleep.
Okay.
I'm going to get my sleep. So that I
So
do.
you turn your phone off.
We leave our phones downstairs, actually, because if not, it's just going to be nonstop. And so, and I love my constituents to death, but I do have an off button and an off time. And so I do that so that I can have some time for myself, just to decompress and relax because my brain is always going
You probably learned a lot of that from your dad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
but you have to take time for yourself. You have to separate, because it is a lot going on. And what was the second part of your question?
The Fortune 500, I did some research where you have this initiative to embrace all of these companies to come to North Las Vegas. What do you have to offer these companies?
We have several things to offer these companies. We have the most developable land in North Las Vegas and the other jurisdiction. We can offer incentives to bring companies in, whether they are startups or they are relocating. We have a very business-friendly model. Mayor Lee, who is my predecessor, we started what we call a faster and faster model. So we have a fast track to get your business license in. We have a self-certification program. So if you're a trusted developer or builder, you go through our self-certification program. You don't have to go through all that red tape every time you want to build something. So we can get you fast permitted. We can get paperwork and everything done, so you can get shovels in the ground, and your money is making money, not sitting in the bank making money for the banks.
How do you interface with all of the other mayors in this basin, surrounded by mountains. In North Las Vegas, Mayor Goodman,
Yes.
and then the mayor from Henderson. Have you had a powwow with them yet?
We have a lunch planned. It's just that we've all been so busy. We
Busy.
always run into each other at various events that we go to, community events, banquets, luncheon, or what have you. So we do have a great working relationship. We've been on several panels together, just discussing what each municipality is working on and what we're doing, and you find so many similarities. And Mayor Goodman, and like, we go way back as well with her family as well. And Michelle Romero's the newly elected mayor in Henderson, and she's a phenomenal woman as well. And then we also have the new mayor in Boulder City, Mayor Hardy. So I've known him for a while before he was mayor. So it's just nice to have a fresh set of eyes and just people that are motivated and enthusiastic about their communities.
Living most of your life here in Vegas, do you have some type of Vegas pride, or how do you explain that, where a person like yourself that went to the school, became a very accomplished person going through our school district, and then going off to a historical black college? I want to ask that question.
Yeah.
How was that? Was that an experience? I mean, there was a cultural experience going to Catholic school. Then you went to public school, and now at a historical black college. How did that shape you?
It was a culture shock the first, because I'm a freshman I'm in Texas, away from home, and going from a Catholic school where you could count people of color on that campus, going to a sea of people that look like me on a campus. But Prairie View is a small enough school where you know each other by name. You weren't a number in the classroom. Teachers knew you by name. They knew if you were in class. They knew if you skipped class. So it was phenomenal. And then that's my father's alma mater, so I couldn't get away with it.
I know he had some eyes on you.
So he's like, aren't you so-and-so? I'm like,
Right.
yes, yes, yes. And then my brother and sister both were on campus. We were all three of us on campus at the same time. And then there were other people from Las Vegas. So we just kind of had a small knit community right there in Prairie View, Texas. So it was the greatest experience of my life, and just learning culture and things that I, needed to learn about the African American culture. You're going to get it there whether you wanted to or not. So it was just a phenomenal experience.
And you're a sister of what fraternity are you?
I am
sorority.
the
I'm sorry,
sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority,
All right,
Incorporated
All
now.
right.
Get twisted.
Let's do a shout out. All right.
Yes.
How was that experience?
It was amazing because I pledged with 18 other dynamic women who, you all have the end goal. Of course, you have to have a college degree, and it's professional women all around, women of different shades of melatonin. It was just fabulous. And then, it wasn't so much of a rival with the other sororities and fraternities. It was just like a big family, big party most of the time, because we were just there. First of all, you had to get your education, but we had a lot of fun.
You encouraged each other.
Yes.
That's probably one of the biggest attributes of being in a fraternity or sorority, is that encouragement, that embracing of you as people that are dealing with the same type of issues as people of color.
Yes.
I'm, as an educator, what is your platform for the schools in North Las Vegas? Or am I ahead of?
Well, we did, especially when COVID hit, the schools shut down, and we were told, you have rec centers, open your rec centers, let kids come in there and hang out, because some parents still had to go to work. And we said we could do that, or we could utilize that time. And I call them my babies. Everyone knows I call them my babies in North Las Vegas. And so we started the Southern Nevada Urban Micro Academy. It was a micro school that we hosted in our rec centers and our library for kids of parents that had to go to work and had no place else to go. So we still had in-person and virtual instruction for 2 years during COVID. So I feel my babies did not suffer any learning loss when they went back to their regular schools at the beginning of this school year. And so what we see now is that, we personally feel that North Las Vegas schools get the short end of the stick. And so we've instituted an education advisory committee and an education initiative so that we can support the schools in North Las Vegas. I'm not faulting CCSD for what they can and cannot do, but we feel they can do more, and we want to assist with that. And just tomorrow we are doing the Mayor's Teachers Award and Administrators Award, and so we're going to be awarding small stipends just to say thank you to great teachers and great administrators from school in North Las Vegas. And so we've been supporting our schools for the last year and a half, and that will continue.
And speaking of our school district, a lot of people have to understand it, especially when you were teaching and your parents were a part of. Las Vegas was the fastest growing city in America for so many years. So we had an influx of students, new buildings coming up, not making any excuses, but that is a factor involved in trying to keep those standards up, trying to hire the type of professionals that we want our kids to have. So when you were there, you were almost opening up schools almost every year at every level, elementary, high school. I wanted to mention Garside. Now, your father, did he work at Garside?
He didn't work at Garside.
Okay.
He was an elementary principal, so various elementary schools.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I had mentioned to a colleague of mine that when I went to Garside, out of my homeroom came the Gladiators, and I was the guy that.
Oh my goodness!
So if you don't tell it, it didn't happen. So and he mentioned something about Garside relating to your family, but
my oldest son went to Garside for a year. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And now pretty soon you're gonna have kids in college as well.
I have 2 adult sons. One is 32. One is 27.
How can you have Madam Mayor and you only 21?
Don't tell. There you go. Don't tell my secrets. I just wear it well, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. You do. So your kids are what are they majoring in? Are they following in your footsteps?
My youngest son, I call him my starving actor. He has a degree in acting. And he's currently managing a production studio in North Hollywood in California. And my oldest son, his degree is in business administration, and he is in Pittsburgh. He's a manager of a cell phone store and a dispensary down in Pittsburgh.
Well, coming from the Goynes family, this leadership family, I can already say that the actor is probably going to be another Denzel or something.
I'm hoping so. So like that I said that degree is paid for. Come on, let it pay itself back. That's right.
That's right. Yeah. So what other projects that you have going on right now in North Las Vegas that our viewers would love to hear?
I'll share 2 that I'm really excited about. First, it's called the Helios Medical Campus. Out by our VA hospital, we are, it's under construction currently, putting together a 135-acre medical campus with shops, a hotel, a hospital, specialty care, medical technology, and research. So that's going to be pretty phenomenal. And also it will help, service our veterans in that particular area and just the community around, because right now, the state as a whole is just lacking in medical care facilities, and so we're going to build that and bring more medical services right there in North Las Vegas, so I'm not having to travel across town just to go to my doctor appointment. We also are doing a total revitalization of our downtown area. And people say, does North Las Vegas have a downtown? I'm like, well, yeah, it does, but it hasn't been clearly defined. So if you're getting off the 15 at the I-15 freeway at Lake Mead Boulevard and you head, Lake Mead, Las Vegas Boulevard corridor, that starts the North Las Vegas downtown. And so we'll have shops, medical, affordable housing, mixed-use housing, some small business, micro-business opportunities down there, green spaces, public spaces, restaurants, just to represent various cultures because we're 41% Hispanic, but if I want a taco today, if I want Chinese food, if I want Italian food, we're going to have just a mix of places down there for our residents to come.
That is absolutely wonderful. Do you have any interfacing with Nellis Air Force Base?
We do. We have a partnership with, I don't want to use the word partnership, but we do work with Nellis Air Force Base because we have a large military population that resides in North Las Vegas just because of the proximity to the base.
And I want the viewers to know I was born at Nellis Air Force Base.
Wow. And I was the assistant principal when Lomi Hurd was on the base, the elementary
Okay.
school. Yes.
Uh-huh. That's great. Now you mentioned parks.
Yes.
Do you have any huge parks that's kind of like in the future for your North Las Vegas? I know Aliante is beautiful.
Aliante is beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful. It's a planned community. Do you have any other planned communities and parks that's on the horizon?
Absolutely, we do. We just opened maybe about 6 or 7 months ago. It's a master plan community called Valley Vista, and there is a beautiful master plan park in that community. I'm sure you've heard of Craig Ranch Regional Park. That's the
Yes,
staple
ma'am.
in North Las Vegas.
Yes.
And that's our 177 acre dynasty is what I call it. It's a park and it has the amphitheater and it has a state of the art skate park facility in there. We're putting in soccer fields and multi-use fields, some pickleball courts, tennis, baseball, the splash pad. There's a lake in there. You can't swim in the lake, but it's just beautiful that sits over the amphitheater. And so one of the goals for me during my tenure as the mayor is we're going to invest money in all of our parks south of Craig, which are in our more mature neighborhoods, because I want people in those mature neighborhoods to feel their park is just like paradise in all the brand new parks.
No,
So we're
that's
going to
wonderful.
invest funds in there to bring those parks up to code, new playground equipment, dog parks, splash pads, more green, and so that you're comfortable going to those parks. Absolutely.
And your North Las Vegas, as you mentioned, 40% Latinos. How about the diversity of the percentage of blacks that are in North Las? Or can you break down?
We're about 22% African American, 41% Hispanic, and then Caucasian would just trickle down, and then Native American or other or Asian Pacific Islander. Those are our smaller percentages.
Very diverse.
Very, and right now, if you think about it, our council kind of it mirrors our diversity because we're like 40% of our council is Hispanic, 20% of our council is, which would be me, is African American, and so we're mirroring what our community looks like, and that's just a goal that we've been working on as well because we want to represent every culture in our community.
Now, I want to say now that you're Madam Mayor, how are you treated at home by your? I wanted to ask you that question. Are your kids treating you different? Are they being more respectful, or your mom and that's how it is?
I think for the first month, every time I would go over to my parents' house, I'd open the door, my mom would just cry. I'm like, okay, you have just got to stop this cry. So I'm just so proud
That
of
was
my
tears of
baby.
joy.
So it was tears of joy. So
tears of
now
joy.
she just beams every time I come over there. My boys are in different states, but they are as involved. It's every day we text each other or call but they are so proud of their mom and my husband I call my road dog because wherever I go he's like I'm going in. Lately boxes have been coming to the door and I'm like, what do you keep ordering? New suits. He's like, I gotta be ready.
Right.
So
He
he is overjoyed.
That's
Yeah,
that's
I have
wonderful.
it takes a lot of support in this business, and I have a lot of family support.
Now, Madam Mayor, are you yet a grandmother yet?
I'm going to be a grandmother in
Oh.
November.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Okay, and that's your
My oldest son,
that's
first grandchild.
That's
Yeah.
Are you excited?
I am so excited.
You're
I just want to start shopping right now. But
right, right. Do you know? Have you done?
they'll find out tomorrow if it's going to be a boy or girl.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm just
Well,
waiting patiently.
I'm gonna have to send you an email and find that
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And I'll scoop it here on our.
I'm just waiting
podcast.
patiently. So if they're going to find out, that's up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to know. They
right.
just want a healthy baby and just be surprised
Yes.
by it. In compare and contrast for when you grew up in North Las Vegas to where it is now and where you're going to take it, how was it growing up there? Was it, what was the demographics when back in the 60s, 70s, if you can remember?
I just remember very segregated. I remember when my parents bought their home where I grew up in, they had to take somebody of non-African American heritage to purchase that home with them. I remember that too. I don't know why that keeps standing, but I would never forget that. And so that's how it was, because the area that they wanted to move in is called Bonanza Village. Now, they couldn't move over there back then. You can move there now, but they couldn't back then. And so just I remember either going to Lake Mead or to Owens and Bonanza, pretty much predominantly black neighborhoods back then.
So Vegas, and we have evolved past this, and sometimes we have to, address some of these issues that kind of traumatize us as kids when we ask our parents, why do we have to do that? Or when I was, we went down south, and I drank out of a white drinking fountain. And I had absolutely no idea. Those things, when people that are not of color, they don't understand that sticks with you all your life. You remember those types of things, and that is not something that I would say the dominant culture had to deal with.
Absolutely. And I didn't experience that, but just because my father's birthplace is in Texas and my mother's from Little Rock, but going there as a child, when you see white only or colored or black, you're like, what is this all about? And that's when you hear the stories.
Yeah. When my grandmother, when I, as a young impressionable kid, started drinking out of the white drinking fountain, the lady that we were at the post office, the lady that was with us, she did one of those Fred Sanford, I'm gonna have a heart attack type of thing.
Yes.
And so my grandmother came up to me and said, they call me Gene. He said, Gene, you can't drink it. I said, why not, Grandma?
Right.
She said, look at that sign. And it took me a while to get up to it, and I said, white only. It still didn't resonate with me.
You were just thirsty. That's
that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
And even then, it was just a reinforcement of your inferiority, and it also reinforces superiority on the parts of those of the dominant culture that put that in place. But that, because the water came out of the same, only one was over here. One water fountain was pristine and shiny, and the other one looked like it was broke down.
Yes.
That's probably why this young kid went over here. I thought that probably, it didn't even resonate with me that was a water fountain.
Yeah.
So now you have seen a lot of change.
I have.
And you're going to be a part of a lot of change. And you know what I'm happy to see, and is women in leadership. It is something about women in leadership that you guys, when I say you guys, I'm saying ladies, cross the T's and dot all the I's. Sometimes guys, we get caught up with our little macho ego, and we forget about what we're there for. It's not about us. And with your maternal instincts, and I'm not stereotyping all women that's in politics, but you see a lot of movement, a lot of care being done by Mayor Goodman, yourself, the mayors that are women. You can see a change, and if you can speak to that without us hurting the egos of men.
I just think I put the compassion back into what I do.
Yes.
Because first and foremost, we are elected by the people, for the people. And so if you take that people component out of it, I think you're missing something, because the end of the day, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about what's best for those constituents in North Las Vegas or any jurisdiction. And so I have to make sure that when I'm voting or making decisions, that is it something, first of all, that I can live with? Can I rest at night knowing I made the right decision? And so I have to think about things that way. And then I think I take my time and rationalize problems and really think it out, so I'm not making a quick decision and then I have to turn around, and because once you put it out there, it's hard to take it back. So I try to make sure that I'm thoughtful in my thought processes and the decisions that I have to make. And some of them, you can't please everybody, but I have to make sure that I'm doing the best job for the people that put me in office.
Your father, I've met him on occasions. He's a very intelligent, very cerebral, thinks before he talks type of person. Do you ever, since you've been mayor, have you ever confided in your dad? You don't have to answer that.
Dad is 93 right now.
Yes.
He has dementia, and sometimes when you think he's not paying attention or he's not there, he wants to know what's going on. He's right there with you, and so he'll often share a story, or a memory will come back, or a thought will come back about what he did when he was on the council. So I approach it that way versus asking for advice that he may not remember, or he'll say, "Yeah, I remember this," or "I remember so and so, and this is what happened then." So it's in there, it's hidden, but it comes out every once in a while.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I probably haven't seen your father in about 15 years, but every time I was in his presence, everything that he said was to encourage,
Yeah.
to uplift, and to challenge you to be the best that you can be. That's what I remember of your father. So he's having a few challenges,
Yeah.
but at the same time, he knows that you're mayor.
He knows.
All
Oh, yeah.
right, all right.
Yeah, when something comes in the paper or he sees something, he's gonna want to know what it is. So yeah, he definitely knows.
So okay,
Yes.
that's good to know, because that wisdom
Yes.
is what's needed in politics now. You know, that common sense and that common courtesy that's not common nowadays. You know, we got to bring that back to City Hall, where we can reach out to our people. If there's anything that you want to say about the direction of your where you are with the mayor, if you can prioritize it, what would be some of the things that you want to accomplish, if that's not too much of a difficult question?
I feel like I am going to be the closer mayor this term, simply because we have so many projects that are either on paper or there may be a couple shovels in the ground. And so my goal is to make sure that those projects are closed out and finished and come to complete, that they're ready and open for business. And then second of all, which I think is really important, is to keep the momentum going that we have in the city. Our residents asked for more restaurants. We've opened 24 in the last 3 years, and I just drove down Craig Road the other day. We're opening 10 or 12 more, whether they're sit down or fast food style restaurants. Our residents asked for that, and so we're delivering on that. We are still with the most developable land. We are developing, whether it's a warehouse or whether it's a commercial pad or something like that, so services are had, but those are higher paying sustainable jobs. And so we are getting our babies ready in the workplace to go into these jobs that may not have even been created yet. So we have to make sure that we're educating our babies and getting them ready for this 21st century crazy technological world that we live in today. And so I just want to make sure, and then I already mentioned what our park initiative is, and then we've opened a Veterans Resource Center. It's just a one-stop shop for veterans, and a resource center so that they get everything that they need, so that we can get them healthy and back into life, or just come in the Veterans Center and hang out and have a good time. We've done our jail system differently than any other municipality. We have a correctional facility. We don't call it a jail, it's a community correction center, and it's a rehabilitative style system where we focus on substance abuse issues, so that we put our inmates through rigorous training and programs so we can get them back out into society. We'll arrest you in a heartbeat. We don't want you to come back. So we want to make sure that we get them healthy and safe, so they're able to function and be a productive citizen. And then one thing that I'm really proud about, we are going to open a resource center for our Hispanic and our Latina population, or anybody for that matter. And it's still going to be a resource center so that you have a safe space where we're not going to worry if you're documented or not, but we want you to have a safe space to come in and get all the services that you need. And so we've got a lot of moving parts going on in North Las Vegas. And so
we all belong to the human race, don't we?
Get that momentum going and keep it going.
Yes. That is so outstanding. I look forward. I'm gonna ask you this. Maybe in a couple of years, would you come back and give us
You can give me a report card. Absolutely.
No. As far as I'm concerned, see, I'm your number one fan. You're gonna get an A no matter what, because growing up African American in Las Vegas and seeing the changes, people like me celebrate you.
Thank you. I appreciate
and not only do we celebrate you, we just said, we say to ourselves, there is hope.
Yeah.
There is hope And leadership transcends the color of your skin, your gender. We just got to get the right leadership, and I believe that you are the right leadership.
Thank you. I
You
appreciate that.
come from a
Thank you,
dynasty
thank you. Yeah.
of leaders. So
And I'm just thankful that the residents in North Las Vegas put their faith and trust in my leadership as well. And so I'm not going to let them down. Do the best that I can.
absolutely. Mayor, thank you so much for taking a little time with us. These are your flowers.
Oh, see,
Those are your
flowers while they can appreciate them.
And not only that,
beautiful.
we're this is a coffee brand. You said you're a coffee drinker. Our coffee brand is our main sponsor is this coffee from Cameroon, Africa. Over 300 small farmers are a part of this. Okay. So I want you to tell me the truth about this coffee.
I'm gonna wait till in the morning if you say it's gonna make me go.
well, all of us are different, but I want you to enjoy that.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. Oh, and this cup is yours as well.
Okay.
So you can remember us.
Evolution.
Evolution of hospitality in Las Vegas. And thank you so much for taking out the time to come in here with us, Mayor. And we pray for you, and we want you to do what we already know you're going to do, and that is going to keep those standards high and increase those standards in North Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.